Now, in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about my... What am I talking about again? So today's topic is about people asking me why I have trauma when I didn't meet my mum at birth. Okay, like you can see the way I'm looking away and I'm trying to regulate myself, but I'm gonna give you some insight into that. Sorry, my head's itching me a little bit. I'm gonna give you some insight into why I believe the trauma is there. Okay, now, to my fellow adoptees, just know that I see you and I know how you feel. To those who are in contact with any adoptees, please listen clearly and also just tell me your thoughts. If you're an adoptee, if you've been in this position, just let me know how it's been for you. Or if you're someone who knows an adoptee, just tell me your thoughts as well and what you think on it. But I feel as though I've been treated like I have no license to feel any type of way. It's almost like, listen, you're adopted, you got adopted, like, you should be grateful. Like, you were chosen. That's one thing you do not say to an adoptee, because we're not just a piece of meat in the market. Oh, I'm gonna pick that one. Like, that doesn't make us feel any better. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, I did some research into this because I felt like I didn't actually have the answers myself to why I've had trauma over the years. I've not known if I am ungrateful for feeling some type of way that I'm adopted. But I've actually been looking into it and trying to understand what's actually going on, what's actually happening, why is this the case for me? Now, I was reading a book and what's it called? Primal Wound. And the writer's talking about, you know, from the very beginning when you're in the womb and the mum's carrying. So I've been in this position where I'm pregnant, I'm carrying my babies. And it's all like, it's a joyous thing. Like, even if you get the morning sickness and that, like, you know, you've got this bundle of joy that you're going to have. So I will rub my belly. I'll be singing to the baby. Dad will do the same. We play music. You know, everything is so positive around it. So my oxytocins and my hormones are good. They're in a good way. So if a mum is pregnant, carrying a baby, and they know that they're going to give that baby up for adoption, let's be honest, they're not going to try and create an attachment with that baby. So, you know, things like talking to the baby, playing with the baby, just anything sort of positive that's going to create that attachment, that will be negated because they know that the baby will be given up for adoption. So the circumstances are very different. In the same breath, the circumstance around the adoption happening, for instance, if they're in an unhealthy relationship, let's say, for instance, it's a domestic abuse relationship and that mum is giving up the baby, they're no longer happy in that relationship. And so that in itself, the stress, everything that comes with it, that's going to have a major impact, not only on the mom, if she's in a position where she's receiving domestic abuse, it will also have an impact on the baby. And this is what the book talks about. So even before the baby enters the earth, their genetic makeup is based on what's actually happening with that mother outside in the real world. The book also talks about the hormones that are shared during that pregnancy. So when the baby is born, they're still sort of looking for the same hormones. They're attached to you. This is all science, guys. It's all science. Just going based on biology and what other therapists or professionals scientists have said in regards to how attachments with mums and babies work. So yeah, so that baby, according to the book, will be confused about the new parent that has taken them up, because they're looking for the same hormones and the same things that they received whilst they were inside. So that's all about the baby stages to why I believe trauma could have possibly been present in my life growing up. If I look further and think about growing up, I'm going to be honest with you, I felt different. I felt very different, even in the family setting, and with external family members. I was treated different and I felt different. And just, things like, let's say my siblings do a certain thing based on genetics and I may not do that thing. Things just as simple as my name, like my name starts with J, my sibling's name starts with A, a different shade of black to what they are. I just look different. So there's the look, there's the feeling, how I was treated. I remember when I was pregnant, and this is later on in life, and I was told that a family member had said, they'd said to someone, I'm going to say it, they said to my mum, what do you expect? Like, she was always gonna go down this route. So it's almost like things were spoken over my life and I was looked at a certain way. And I believe it's because I was adopted, because had I not been adopted, would you really be looking at me like that? Would you really have those thoughts about me? And it was almost like, I've heard the stories actually about my mum taking me on and people being really unhappy and talking about, she's going to be like this, she's going to ruin the home. There's so much to it and it's very hurtful. And I've known this because I can see, and even as a child, children are not silly. Like, I look at my kids now and I watch how they are not silly. Even babies sense and they feel. And I have felt like that from a very young age, but I've struggled to articulate it or say anything. And I feel as though when I have said things before, it's almost as though, you're overreacting, you're being silly, you're looking for something to moan about. And so my pain is silenced. And so over the years, I've just kind of plodded on. And I tell you, it will be a shock to some people when they watch this and they realise, whoa, I didn't even know you felt like that. Yeah, you didn't know, because I wouldn't say it, because it's a very lonely road and it feels like I'm going to be judged for feeling that way. So I've tried to suppress the feelings, and then I did act out growing up as a teenager. I mean, teenage and adolescence years are based on that teenager trying to learn who they are, their identity and stuff. And my identity was very shaken. Like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any reflection. Oh, guys, it's so complex. But these are some of the things that gave me that trauma. Like, I just understood that I felt like an outsider. I felt like a complete outsider. So when you only see someone that looks like you and operates like you, I just decided to just be my authentic self anyway. Well, what I thought was my authentic self, because either way, I'd probably get in trouble anyway. Like, you might as well just do what you're doing if they're gonna be upset if you do A or B. Like, it's tough. And so these are the things that have added to the trauma over the years. So this is why it's traumatic, because you're in a world where you feel like you don't belong, and then you realize that you're not a part of a world that you were biologically meant to be from. That's such a tongue twister. That sounded like a whole bag of words. But, and even if everything was a walk in the park, just scientifically, according to what I've read, there would have still been a form of trauma there, unfortunately. So for all those that are adopting children, these are things to consider. Yes, it is an amazing thing that you have taken on that child and given that child a chance. Like, I do feel blessed that my family have done that. But there are things to consider for them, because I feel like a lot of the times when I talk about my adoption story, I've had responses like, but you're so lucky. Like, some people are in a home, and I am aware of that, but that doesn't stop the pain that comes with it. That doesn't stop the fact that I know my mom, my biological mother, gave me up for adoption and didn't want me, or my father. It doesn't stop that I know that I possibly had other siblings. Like, I didn't know back then. I know now, but it doesn't stop all that's going on in your head, like that rejection feeling. There's so much to it, guys. So please be sensitive and please be careful when you are talking to someone about their story. It's taken me 36 years of my life to be open about this, and so I'm hoping truly that it does help somebody somewhere. So guys, that is the end of my video today. What am I gonna say to you? I'm gonna say, please like, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I want to thank you for joining me on this crazy ride and for supporting me throughout this journey. But for now, guys, look after yourself, take care, God bless.